Hello chess friends and welcome to Jozarov chess channel and welcome back to the TCEC season 24 Premier Division that you can follow now on the official TCEC website. So this Premier Division becomes more and more just a clash between Leela C0 and Stockfish 15. Both of these engines have 18 points out of the first 27 rounds. In my opinion, the Dragon engine is out of the competition. The Dragon engine will probably finish on the third place, but in my opinion it doesn't have chances to reach the super final. In the super final we'll probably see the epic battle between Stockfish and Leela C0. So let's start now to analyze one beautiful but again a brutal game in which Stockfish played such a amazing attacking the Caro-Kann defense. Pay good attention how Stockfish is including all of the pieces in the game. In my opinion, really one of the best games so far from the Premier Division. So Stockfish with the white pieces open with the move e4. The Dragon engine with the black pieces response was c6, the Caro-Kann defense. We have now the move d4, d5, and after move e5 we have the advanced variation. White simply occupies the spaces in the center of the board. So we have now the Botvinnik-Carls defense with the move c5. Stockfish continues the development. C takes d4. Queen to d4. Of course the queen will be kicked away with a potential knight to c6 move, but now after move e6, first of all black builds this firm structure in the center. So knight to c3, now comes this idea, knight to c6, but after move queen to f4, white is simply relying on the space advantage that we created here, because now with the move e5 we have at least some kind of a progressive way here. We have at least some kind of advantage in the position. So now with the move queen to f4, Stockfish is supporting for this powerful pawn. So in the game h6, preparing g5, Stockfish stops this idea with the move h4. We have now the move g6, bishop to e3, also beautiful prophylactic move by Stockfish, not allowing of course here some bishop to c5 ideas. So d4 is of course not possible. There's simply too much pressure around the square. Even queenside castle would happen. So you would love of course to play the move d4 because you would love to advance the pawn, but so far it's not possible. So in the game knight to e7 was played by the Dragon engine, trying knight to f5 and maybe then later some ideas with d4. Stockfish plays now queenside castling, is of course playing the direct threat against the queen. So far the queen is not endangered, but again if the d file somehow opens then the queen could be under fire. So in the game queen to a5, the Dragon engine is sensing maybe here an attacking opportunity with a6 b5. Of course white castled early in this position, so that's why black is hoping to attack the king immediately. But with the move queen to a5, you came out also with your queen too early, I think, in the game. The queen could be now really endangered, and Stockfish is saying now, okay dude, this is not working. Your queen is simply not supposed to be here. Now after move bishop to d2, the serious threat is of course to move knight to b5, and then afterwards also move knight to d6. But the Dragon engine continues with its plan, a6 b5, again with maybe b4, and then afterwards also to take out the pawn on a2. Stockfish ignores simply the idea of black's, plays now the impossible knight to b5. Here the Dragon engine accepts the challenge, is also threatening the checkmate on a1. But now Stockfish has first of all this beautiful check, knight to d6, we have king to d7, and now comes a beautiful move, bishop to c3. And there are now many things that you can do. You can of course play a check, but check is just a check. You don't have a follow-up, because after king to d2 the rook is attacking the queen. The queen has to step back. Now we play something like bishop to e2, and also maybe we're threatening to trap the queen even with rook to a1. Knight to f5, knight to f7, queen to f7 is perfectly fine. So in my opinion this is not a good continuation here for black. So you could also try maybe knight to f5 instead of queen to a1, but now we simply play bishop to d3 is perfectly fine. We're simply attacking the knight. Even if you play something like g5, h takes g5, h takes g5, we can even play this line. Look at this, how very dirty this position can be. Even queen to f5 is a possible move. You can play maybe now this idea, queen to a1, or you can play maybe e takes f5, but look at this, rook to a8. You can maybe take out this one. Now we pick up here the pawn on f5. Look at this, king to e7. Now we pick up this piece, and now we can even pick up the bishop on c8. So look how really tactically rich this position already is. So even queen sacrifices are possible. So in my opinion, knight to f5 or queen to a1 are not working. So that's why the Dragon engine simply continued with its plan with the move b5. And now you could maybe even try here the move king to d2. this would be very, very dangerous, because then maybe also b4 is working. So that's why here white didn't want to go into this particular line. So now instead of this move king to d2, Stockfish plays the impossible move. Stockfish plays now the immortal bishop to c4. Look at this, what Stockfish is doing. Really, really wild stuff. What to do here? The idea about this move bishop to c4 is, of course, to stop the move b4, because we have to agree. I think the b4 move is very dangerous here, because the knight is controlling the b4. You have to then take out with the bishop. We take out here, and then of course also queen to a1 makes more sense, because you don't have also the bishop as a good defender. So that's why with the move actually bishop to f5, Stockfish stops the b4 move, because if you keep your b pawn on the board, if you try something like here d takes c4, then the problem is, of course, this discovered check. We have knight to b5. You can cover yourself, of course, with the knight, but now after rook to d5, look at this, how brutal really this position is. E takes d5. We have even this stunner. E6, you pick up now the pawn, but now the queen is coming into the game. This is simply brutal chess. So now we can pick up this one. You can also include now this knight into the game. So the game is simply falling apart here for black. So after move bishop to c4, of course you don't want to take out the queen with the queen. So now you have to simply accept the challenge. You have to now play b takes c4. But now b4 is not possible, so Stockfish plays now the beautiful king to d2, and now the queen is trapped. The queen doesn't have any more good squares. You can of course try queen to a4, but we'll simply play rook to a1, and there's no access to the b5 square. The knight is controlling the square. All of the squares are taken, so the queen is simply paralyzed here. So after move king to d2, the Dragon engine tried knight to f5. Stockfish plays rook to a1 anyway. Queen to e1, rook to a1. We have now bishop to e7. As we said, if you play always this idea, knight to d6, e takes d6 liberates, of course, the long diagonal against the rook, so this is not working. So after rook to a1, we have bishop to e7, king to e1, a rook to b8, queen to d2, and now after move knight to h4, knight to h4, bishop to h4, Stockfish, bishop to g5 first. We had this intermediate attack against the queen. Then afterwards, bishop to h4 was played. Now Stockfish continues with rook to a4. This is very important to play this move. Many of us would play passively now, would play something like king to f1, would try to secure the king by castling and something, but rook to a4 has to be played, because after bishop to e7 that the Dragon engine played, now again we have this stunning idea, rook to c4. If you play d takes c4, this is again not working, because we have this discovered check. Knight to f7, you have to step back. We'll pick up the rook. You can maybe play this one, but now we'll also grab this pawn on g6, and we're controlling for the pawn on e5. So you see, Stockfish keeps the pressure. Stockfish played so far really an immortal tactic, trap the queen, but is continuing the pressure. Many of us, I think, would lean down and say, this is enough for me, I'm winning this game for sure. No, you have to keep the pressure. You have to continue to push your opponent to the limits. Here after move rook to c4, again a beautiful move by Stockfish. We have bishop to b7, a rook to a4, again attacking the pawn on a6. We have now f5, queen to d3, bishop takes d6. Black doesn't want to tolerate anymore this annoying knight. We have now e takes d6, again discovered attack against the rook. Rook to g8, bishop to d4, king to d6. Now the queen is coming in a beautiful way into the game with the check. You have to play king to d7, and now Stockfish simply attacks further all of these weaknesses, all of these weak dark squares in black's position. So in the game g5, we have queen to g3, trying to attack again the d6 pawn. That's why here we have f4. But when you maybe solve one problem, then you create yourself another problem. Look at this, now we have the light square problems, and Stockfish is now sneaking in again with the queen on light square. So in the game king to c7, Stockfish plays queen to h5, rook to d8, now queen to f7, another beautiful check. You have to cover yourself, but now Stockfish is grabbing another pawn. So slowly but surely, all of these pawns are becoming more and more weaknesses. This is not so easy, I think, also to play for white. The king is still stuck in the center of the board. If maybe black somehow activates all of these pieces, if the rooks are coming into the game, then you could have here already huge problem. So after move queen to e6, we have bishop to c8, attacking now the pawn, also indirectly of course attacking the queen here on e6. We have now queen takes h6, rook takes b2, we have now queen to g5. Stockfish continues to grab all of the pawns on the king side. We have now rook to c2, queen to f4 comes with a beautiful check, and Stockfish created now also a very important strategic element in the endgame. It's now these two connected passers on the king side. Very nice stuff. So in the game king to b7, we have now queen to e3, rook to b2. We have now rook to a3, rook to a3, rook to b1. First a check, king to d2, again a new check, king to c1, and now after move a rook to b5, again attacking the bishop. And this is a good choice by Stockfish. Rook to b3, trying to simplify the game by trading off the rooks. We have now knight to a5, rook takes b5, a takes b5, and now king to d1, getting out of this, maybe fork some ideas. So maybe knight to c4, knight to b3, maybe later is possible when the queen maybe moves. So you don't want to keep your king, of course, on dark squares, because you are always vulnerable here. Also fork ideas by the knight. So in the game, knight to c4 was played by the Dragon engine. We have now queen to d4, very nice move. Stockfish creates sort of a blockade, is not allowing the b4 move, is also not allowing the d4 move, and is simply starting now to push the pawns on the king side. So we have now a rook to c7, f3, rook to c6, g4, beautiful move, bishop to e6, king to e1, knight to a5, queen to b4. We have now knight to c4, and after queen to b5, basically the position is really now falling apart. You have to now play something like this, but now Stockfish continues simply the pressure on the king side. We have now knight to e5, bishop to a7, rook to c2, king to g3, knight to d7, bishop to e3. After a couple of moves by black, here again bishop to d2, and now Stockfish centralize the queen. The queen is now very powerful on the square d6. We have now finally the move d4, but it's simply too slow. Stockfish plays first of all this beautiful check. You have to step back. Again, the queen is attacking the dark squares. You have to step back again. And now after move queen to f7, this is really game over. So rook to c5, bishop to f4, king to d8. Stockfish simply pushed the pawn further. Here we have a couple of checks. Even this idea was present in the game. Rook to a2, queen takes a2. But basically you don't have any more better moves. We have now knight to f6, simply attacking. Here Dragon engine gave up even this knight, simply prolonged the game. Stockfish simply promoted to a new queen, and after the move g8, the game was over here for black. So incredible game here by Stockfish 15. Let's go to this first critical moment of the game where the stunner came. Here let's go to this beautiful moment. So now knight to bishop to c4 here after move knight to d6. This was really impossible. Look how Stockfish is playing the game. Stopped simply the move b4. That was the crucial part of this attack, and now the queen was endangered. After a couple more moves, the queen was trapped. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it a lot. Interesting ideas in the Caro-Kann defense. If you want to see more brutal attacks like this, check out our commented chess games played by computer series with some more Stockfish game, Alpha Zero games, Lila C0, Dragon engine, and many more. And if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and chess is the best, of course.